Passion. That's my favorite subject. How'd you know? Anyway, passion is an interesting phenomenon that happens where somebody really cares about something or really enjoys something or really believes in something and will work really hard to make something happen that they want to make happen. Well, the interesting thing about passion is it's something you need to think about when you're developing people and when you're giving out work assignments and when you're thinking about, who you should put on a team or who you should have lead a team. And that is always be looking for the passion in the people that you lead so that you can try to assign things to people that really want to do it, that really care, that really have the energy to go make it happen. And there's two ways to recognize passion. And I think leadership loses 50% of it because they don't recognize passion in its alternate form. The first form is somebody who's really excited, has a lot of energy, and they're just like, yeah, I want to do it. I want to lead this. I want to make this happen. And that's easy. How many can recognize that? Most of you. Okay. The other is the people that complain about something. And they're just as passionate. This is really stupid. I don't know why we're going here. We ought to be doing something else. We should, When you have people that do that, recognize that that is a sign that they have a passion for whatever it is they're complaining about. And sometimes you can turn that around and say, okay, what if I put you in charge of this? Do you want to go take it and change it and make it happen? Okay? I do that, by the way, with all of the picnics. We have a picnic, and I'm at the picnic, and we're having the picnic, and the person comes up and says, I really don't like having picnics during the week because it's really hard to get here, and blah, 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 blah. And they just go on and on and on, and I'll say, you know what? I love it. Next year, you can run the picnic. And we'll do it on a Saturday, just like you like it. And they're all excited, and they take it on, and they go do it, and we do it the next time, and So all I'm saying is there's a little clue that you can watch for people who are, frustrated with something, who really have an opinion about something. Find out, think about, can you use that to turn it into passion rather than to turn it into negative feedback? Because, we have a tendency not to like people to do that, so we kind of, go away, I don't want to listen. You need to listen to it. There's some passion in there somewhere. You need to empower that passion and get everything you can out of it. So it's important to match jobs with people's passion, which is why I think we talk about with new employees that come to Swiftback is, you're coming in at the job you're in. If you love the job you're doing, we'll make you the best at what you're doing. If you don't like the job you're doing, go figure out what it is you want to do, and we'll help you get to that job. But in the end, we want everyone to follow their passion, because that's where people are really going to be happy. That's where they're going to be fulfilled in their job and really enjoy it and really have the energy. And you can just tell the difference between somebody who just really has a passion for what they're doing versus people who are just doing it. And you always need to get to know your employees, get to know the kinds of things they really like, get to know the things they really enjoy, because what's one person's enjoyment is another person's drudgery. And if you really understand all of your folks and what they really enjoy doing and they're good at and they just love it, the more you can give them that kind of work, the better they are at it. You can take somebody who just loves Excel spreadsheets and they'll just do all kinds of things with that, and the talent that comes out, and the kinds of reports, the kind of charts, the kind of information. They just do all this good stuff with it. Where if you have somebody who doesn't like Excel spreadsheets, it's just an absolute drudgery, and it's hard to get that work back from them. They don't want to do it. They don't want to fill it out. They don't want to do the metric. They don't want to do the So by bringing people into your organization that have these different passions, you can also bolster up your organization to bring that talent in. So when you're interviewing, look for people that have a passion for what it is you're trying to get and what you're trying to achieve in your organization. And don't just hire the person that says, well, yeah, I've done it before and I'll do it again. And, hire me and I'll do it again. Try to watch for the spark. Try to watch for the passion, the things that they enjoy, and utilize it. So it's kind of interesting here at SwiftPack. Sometimes we actually reschedule the jobs and what organizations do certain things for SwiftPack just because they have people in their organization that have a passion for something. And it just makes it so much more fun and so much more, stellar, kinds of things. So try to match them. You don't want to get a person that's not an idea person who likes using a calculator versus wondering what's on the outside of the box, and give them a job that they have to figure out what's on the outside of the box. They're going to be sitting there with their calculator going, I hope somebody tells me soon what's on the outside of the box. It's going to be uncomfortable. They're not going to feel good. It's going to feel really awkward. They're going to be scared. If you see those things in people, then you probably don't have them matched up to what they really love and enjoy and want to learn about. And because when you match them up with something they really love and they really learn, they're like reading it at home. They're like, banging the keys. They're doing everything they can to get what they want. Look what I got. Look what I did. That's when you try to find that passion in that person. And so the other thing is being able to express your passion. Figuring out for yourself what really makes you happy. What part of the work do you really enjoy and really love, and going and getting that kind of job. If your job today is drudgery, it means you're not feeding your passion. And you have to think about, well, what is your passion? What is it you want to do and express, and try to get that in your job. I've talked to some of you in this room about what is it you really enjoy and the thing that you really love, and you're looking at, should I take this job or this job? And we just talk about your passion. We just keep talking about your passion, and in the end you say, yeah, it's this job. I haven't had to tell you which job to take. I'm just telling you, discover your passion. That will guide you, and that will lead you to what it is you want to do and the kind of job you want to have, and take on assignments that feed your passion, volunteer for things that feed your passion. It'll make you and all your employees happier.
Would you explore a little bit the part where you're talking about the people that are bringing things forward that need fixing and them ending up with the assignments? Because lots of times things people are bringing forward are things they're seeing that are wrong in other areas, and if there's a thought that those people that are coming forward are going to always end up with the assignments rather than getting things fixed, that's kind of a negative.
Yeah, that's a delicate balance. You have to, you don't want to just, every time somebody tells you something's wrong, say, well, then you go fix it.
Right.
But what you can do is when people are, you can tell that they really care what's happening, especially like when you have employee events and different things like that, where they say, well, I think it ought to be on a Saturday, I think it ought to be on or I don't like the way the money's being spent, or, sometimes you're able to say, well, do you want to join in? I mean, do you want to, join the party committee? Do you want to have an effect on that? You don't necessarily assign it to them, but you say, do you want to be involved? Do you want to, do you want to plan the next picnic? I mean, we're good with that. We're good with you planning the picnic if you want to do it. And if they respond positively, well, yeah, that would be great. Then you've touched their passion. If they say, well, no, I just think it's lousy, well then.
What about in the work context, though, where people are bringing things forward that are problems? And
yeah, it's kind of the same thing. If they come in and they say, I don't really like this database software that we're using, and it just really doesn't work, and it just, it's very awkward, and it really doesn't do what we want to do. For example, LiveLink would be a good example. LiveLink is terrible. But a lot of people got assigned to work on LiveLink and do LiveLink and input into LiveLink and output out of LiveLink, and it never ever was a good tool. And if it wasn't for the people who came back and said, this is like really hard to use and not very good, and you'd say, well, what else is there? And you give them the ability to go look to see what else is in there. We found like SharePoint, and we started talking to the IT guys, well, what else is out there that we could try? And so now we're almost completely switched over to SharePoint sites rather than LiveLink. So it's the same thing. You just have to explore it with them. are they just being angry, or do they, really want to make positive change, in the organization? Well, go do some research. Go find out what's out there, and let's look at what's out there. Or, versus, well, I don't like Joe, I don't like what he's doing, and I think it's stupid, and, some people just are angry all the time and see everything negatively all the time. Those people are hard to find their passion. But if you can, it will turn them around.
I have two questions. One, is there a way to instill or develop passion? Is my first question. And the second thing is I'm having a tough time distinguishing between passion and motivation. So is passion just inherent? I mean,
yeah, I think passion is part of who you are. Whatever is going on for you, if you're passionate about it, it's because it goes really deep into your belief system and in your reward yourself kind of system. Versus motivation, it's, well, are you motivated to get it done or not motivated to get it done? Motivation is needed when you have no passion for something. You don't need motivating if you have passion. If that makes any sense.
It may be inherent, but I think there's ways to draw that out. Mm-hmm. And I've seen you do it, and we brought some new people to you, and we talked about why is the FBM even here? Why do you come to work for in the morning? Why is this program? Why does it exist? And a lot of them haven't really thought about that because they just got a job. They haven't really thought about why this job even exists. And I find that people, once they understand why it's important what they're doing, say it's tracking data or inspecting for quality or whatever, they understand how important that is. I think you can instill that passion.
Yeah, I think you can make their jobs more meaningful if they really understand why they're doing what they're doing and how does that contribute to where you're trying to go as an FBM program or as a SwiftPack organization or a 8823 organization. If they understand what their part of the contribution is, you get a lot more, but there's a real close thing about motivation and passion, but I think motivation comes from somebody having the drive to get things done, where passion, watch out, you can't stop them from getting things done. It takes much less effort to push forward when you're passionate than it does to push forward with just motivating yourself. And a lot of people are motivated and they get the job done. Some people are passionate.
But Dean's point's a good one, I think, that if you help people understand more about why it's important to do something, that can kind of fuel their passion.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can spark it. You can spark their passion where they hadn't really thought about it. And now all of a sudden they feel what they're doing matters. And, it becomes something that helps motivate them and helps them really want to do what they're doing to the best of their ability. And as leaders, explaining to people why they're doing what they're doing is critical. In the Cal Lab, people could die if things get calibrated wrong. Why is it so important? Because everything we do relies on the accuracy of the Cal Lab. What do you do in budgets? If we do budgets wrong, people lose their jobs. It's significant. And so, when people go and negotiate our non-labor budget, they get all our non-labor we need. You think that's significant? Absolutely. It provides us all the training we're doing, provides us all the travel we're doing, it provides us with all the supplies we need. It's an important job. And if that person understands how important it is, they're going to be much more motivated and passionate to do a good job. And I think your young engineers had to start thinking about the fact that what they're working on and what does that mean for the country and what does that mean for the world and how important is the FBM program. And one of the things I've said to all the new people coming in is the FBM program is worth dedicating your life to because it is that important. And if you understand your connection to that mission, no matter what job you're doing here, it will give you more satisfaction in doing your job. And you'll want to do it better. And you won't compromise, because you know what the price of compromising does, you know what that costs. Anything else on passion?
I got a question about it.
Mhm.
Is there anything you ever do to try to lower somebody's passion level? For example, maybe somebody gets hired to do a specific job here, and they've got passion to do everything in the world because maybe they came out of the Navy and they got a lot of talent. But hey, you didn't get hired to do that. Or the guy or gal that complains all the time. Which I never see that here. They're showing a lot of passion.
Get drugs for that.
But
PRS.
you gotta be careful not to like ruin their,
Right. What I think, let's say you get somebody in that is a mechanic, and they've already got their bachelor's degree, and they want to be bigger and better. So they're in there trying to build a missile, but really they'd rather be a trainer or working, you know, in budgets or working in HR or wherever. Okay. I think what you have to do is negotiate with them. You have to say, okay, you're here today. It got you in the door, but you do not go anywhere and do any other job until performance is good. Performance is the key. If you perform well on what you're doing today, you'll have the opportunity to do other things. The things that make you happier, the things that give you, you know, feed your passion, that you love, that you enjoy. But the compromise is you've got to be willing to perform well in order to open the next door. You know, you got the door open, you were able to interview, and you were able to come in for this job, but you've got to do this job well before someone's going to open the next door for you. And it may be 2 or 3 doors down to get to the job that really is going to feed your passion, but you got to keep negotiating with that employee. Focus on now, not just the future. Focus on doing your performance today. If you go to the SwiftPack website where it talks about employee development, the #1 thing says performance is the key. You got to negotiate with that employee and say performance is the key. If you do really well at this job, people will want you in the job that you want. If you don't do well in this job, they won't want you into that job, even if that's the job that you would be better at, even though that's the job would be more fulfilling. You won't get the opportunity if you don't address your current performance doing the current job that you've been asked to do.
well, let's say that person does the job great, and they still have, and so there's no place to move them up. You know, how do you tell them that their passion could be getting in their way of, like, loving people or whatever, I don't know. But, you know, it could be a problem to just have too much
Well,
passion.
it kind of depends on what you believe. I believe that a person should always go find their passion no matter what. And if there is no opportunity at SwiftPack for them to get to doing the job they want to do that feeds their passion, they need to leave. They need to pursue that passion no matter where it is. They shouldn't stay in a job they hate the rest of their life because they didn't take the risk to go try to get the job they should have. And I've helped people leave here. But they have to pursue it. They have to perform well at the job they're doing. But if there is no opportunity for them, we've got some people here with master's degrees in fields that we don't do. Okay? And they want to have that kind of job. You have to say to them, we don't do that kind of job. You need to go apply here or apply here. Because otherwise they're going to sit in their job and be unhappy. I get emails from people today who are in that situation where they aren't happy because they aren't doing the job they really want to do. And you can see it. And you just have to be truthful with them and say, this place doesn't have the job you're looking for. You need to go get the job you're looking for because you will be much happier.
We went through that when we hired the engineers, right? We said, this is not a design engineering job. You're not gonna do research here.
Right.
This is we're just
We had to-
dispositioning hardware, and
Right.
so you have to be truthful up front, so.
Yeah. When Wayne Decker went and hired the first group of technicians for SACE, for MAB, he went out and he hired like the best dang, electronics technicians with, they can do troubleshooting and they're just have all this capability and all this talent. And he brings them in and he says, okay, now your job is to push this button.
You were one of them.
Okay. That wasn't going to be a fit.
But that's still true. You know,
Okay.
these people are
But
talented.
they've changed how they've hired those technicians. Okay? Now they're hiring electechs that are operators, not the troubleshooting, more engineering inclined. You know, they're looking for a different profile. So that's the key is you got to be careful you're not hiring people that are either way overqualified or they have this expectation of the job they want and they come in and that isn't the job. Like you don't want to get some guy that wants to be the latest technology, he wants to be in the forefront of engineering, you know, he wants to be, you know, designing the next great and best. This isn't the place for them to be. And you may have to find him a job somewhere else, which we did. We found a job for Dan in satellites, and he left. But what you try to do is say, okay, what am I targeting? Who am I trying to find? You want to try to fit. So you got this engineer whose passion is fishing and hunting. That's a much better fit here.
But see, I saw
You know.
Gene Riley do that in Sunnyvale, and I've seen you do that, and that is to tell somebody that comes up and says, I'm not really happy, you know, and to say, what, is there any jobs in this organization that you would like to do? And would you be willing to try it out? And if that doesn't work, then I'll help you find a job that would be suitable outside of the organization. So I've seen you do that too, you know, but Jean used to do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It was important for her to align people, the passions and the jobs.
Yeah. It's important.
But as Carol said, you help the ones that work the hardest the most. There's two of them they help the most, and that's the ones that work the hardest and the ones that work the least to help either one of them get out.
Yep. So I challenge all of you, number one, to find out what your own passion is. So that you have a job you really love and you really enjoy and it's really feeding your,
Could
you know.
you talk about passion as it relates to the issue of sending people off to help other organizations and growing people left behind? Is there kind of a component there where you actually use the passion as maybe the criteria for?
I think you have an opportunity when you take your very, very best people and you give them away. Number one, you know, they're passionate and they're going to a job that they really enjoy and they're just growing. But what it does is the people that are still in the organization look and see that person's gone. You know, now there's that opportunity, you know, to grow and enrich yourself and be better and take on new things. And what ends up happening is the people in the group, they start growing. It's almost as if you got a tree in the forest. When a tree gets to be a certain size, nothing grows underneath it anymore. And so if you have these extremely talented people in your organization, you have one in each group, what you can do is end up stifling all of the others. It's kind of an interesting phenomenon. It's very much like the trees in the forest and nothing grows underneath them anymore. But if you can plant them somewhere, you know, plant people, if you can take those trees and say, go off and rush the castle because that's what you're really good at, and go help that organization who doesn't have a giant tree, and they actually can go help that organization. It gives some time for people to be able to start growing and flourishing. And if they get enough growth and enough flourishing, when the big tree comes back, it doesn't stop their growth anymore. It's almost like you can get a little bit of momentum going on and the others in the group growing, and pretty soon the whole group starts getting better. And it's kind of an interesting phenomenon, because I used to get a lot of my peers who were just like, couldn't understand. They'd be having a problem and stuff, and I'd say, hey, you want to borrow any of my people? Well, yeah, but you probably wouldn't let the person go. I said, oh, no, you can have anybody you want in my organization. Just tell me what the name is, and I'll send them to you. And they're like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? It's because what I saw happen in my career is you send those really good people off. Number one, they help the program. because they help that organization that's struggling succeed. But the other is, all these people all of a sudden start growing in your organization. And you have more talented people. And it just keeps, and the more you give them away, the more they grow, the more you give them away, the more they grow. And it's a really interesting phenomenon that I've seen happen in my career. And, but it, you know, some of my peers, when they retired at their retirement party, they'd say, Carol, you really didn't have anything in it. You really didn't do it for any ulterior motive. You just really did it because you thought that was the right thing to do. And I go, yeah, I kept trying to tell you that. I know, but I just didn't see it. Because they're all looking for what's in it for you. Why would you do that? Why would you send me your best person? Maybe there's something bad about them I don't know. I mean, it's kind of strange. People have this weird reaction for you sending them your best people. I called this guy down in Southern California. We had our buyer here wanted to move to Southern California because that's where her 2 daughters lived, and she wanted to be closer to her daughters, and she was getting closer to retirement, so she wanted to go that. Was it Mary Beth or something? Was that her name? Yeah, Mary Beth. So there was an opening down there for a buyer. So I called the manager and I said, you know, my name is Carol Levinoff. I'm the resident director of Swift Pack. I says, I've got this fabulous buyer that just really wants to live in Southern California so she can be with her kids. And I tell you, she is fabulous. I said, she will do an unbelievably good job for you. You will be so happy to have her. You will not, I mean, you'll be thanking me for years. And the guy says, well, okay, I'll give her some consideration. And then he asked me the question, why would you do this? And I said, well, I'll tell you what, I really believe you need to get people in the right job, no matter where they want to go, whether it's in your group or outside your group. You want to grow them and you want to help people go where they want to go and do what they want to do, because they'll all do better for you. And then he said, so do you have any manager jobs? I thought that was kind of interesting. And, oh, by the way, he hired her. So, worked out for her. So. Did I answer everybody's questions so far? Cool. Thank you.